All right, let's get right to it. If you're operating Rolls-Royce Trent XWB-97 engines, you'll want to pay close attention. EASA has just issued Airworthiness Directive 2025-261, and it's a big one. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what this means for your fleet and, more importantly, what you need to do about it right now.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the why, the root cause, and the safety risks involved. Then we'll get into the who, covering the scope of this directive. After that, it's all about the how, the technical steps you need to take. And finally, we'll zoom out to look at the big picture impact for management.
Okay, first things first. Let's tackle the most important question. Why was this AD even issued? Understanding the why behind it all is absolutely crucial to really grasp the urgency of what needs to be done.
Listen to the direct language from EASA here. They are not pulling any punches. A potential fuel pump failure could mean reduced thrust, which could compromise the safe operation of the aircraft. That is precisely the risk this entire directive is designed to eliminate.
So what happened? Well, this all kicked off after a low-speed aborted takeoff. The investigation that followed zeroed in on the root cause, a specific fatigue mechanism happening inside the fuel pump's impeller assembly. We're talking specifically about part number G5020FPU02. That discovery is the technical reason we're all here today.
Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the who and the what. This next part is critical for every single operator, because this is how you'll figure out exactly which of your engines and parts are on the hook for this directive.
Now, EASA has actually made this pretty simple by breaking it down into two groups. You've got Group 1 engines, which have an affected part on them. And then you have Group 2, which is, well, everything else. It really is that simple. If you have a Group 1 engine, you've got a mandatory action item coming your way.
All right, so how do you know if you have an affected part? Here's the checklist. First, this only applies to Trent XWB-97 engines. Second, you're looking for one specific fuel pump, part number G5020FPU02. And third, and this is a big one, you have to check the serial number. It has to be both post-Pack 20025 and listed in that Appendix 1 of the Rolls-Royce Service Bulletin. Both conditions have to be true.
Now that we know exactly what to look for, let's talk about what to do. This section is for everyone in camo, planning, and on the maintenance floor. We're about to lay out the exact steps for compliance.
This table right here, this is the heart of your compliance timeline. For any Group 1 engine, that fuel pump has to be replaced. But here's the key phrase you can't miss: whichever occurs latest. This is so important because it gives you, the operator, some real flexibility in scheduling this work, letting you balance calendar dates with the part's actual usage.
So if we boil it all down, the technical task is a pretty clean three-step process. Step 1, comb through your records and identify every single Group 1 engine you have. Step 2, swap out that affected fuel pump with a new, serviceable part. And Step 3, make absolutely sure the entire job is done and documented strictly following that Rolls-Royce Service Bulletin.
Okay, the tech side is clear. So now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What does all of this actually mean for your operational planning, your commercial teams, and senior management?
And this is where you realize this isn't just a simple maintenance task, is it? It's a full-blown logistics exercise. Every single Trent XWB-97 engine you operate needs a status check. You're probably looking at planning a whole replacement campaign, which means juggling parts and aircraft downtime. Your records have to be flawless because the last thing you want is to accidentally install another affected part. And through it all, you're going to need to be in constant contact with Rolls-Royce for support.
For your planning teams, these two numbers are going to be your North Star: 10,000 engine hours and 1,100 engine cycles. For the majority of your affected parts, these are the life limits that are going to dictate your replacement schedule. Keeping a close watch on your fleet's progress toward these thresholds is absolutely essential for proactive, efficient compliance.
So this brings us right to the bottom line, the most important takeaway. The effective date for this directive is December 10th, 2025. With that clock ticking, the question for every single operator is simple. Is your compliance plan for this AD locked in and ready to go?